the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
Welcome to Prime Minister Talks. I am your Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs, and it is great to be back in 2023 with the first of a great set of interviews this month, March, being the month we celebrate women. I'm very happy to kick off with one of our own hard-working civil servants right here in government, Ms. Nikima Hickinson. And we did celebrate her if you've been following on our Facebook pages, but here she is today to give you a bit of an insight into what she does as a civil servant for government. Nikima, welcome to Prime Minister Talks.
Thank you, PM. Welcome to all the listening and viewing audience. My name is Nikima Hickinson, and indeed I'm a Senior Policy Advisor at the Department of Interior and Kingdom Relations. And as a senior worker, I am tasked with a diverse portfolio. I do a lot of policy writing and procedures, as well as a coordinator for the policy platform, and also coordination and management of projects, particularly donor relation projects and coordination projects.
I think that was definitely a mouthful. The people of St. Martin have zero clue what policy writing is. Sometimes I think most people don't realize how much has to go on in the background before actions can be taken. And so I am truly appreciative of the hard work you do within the policy platform, within BUC in general. But I think especially persons aren't aware of the work that is done via BUC to secure projects, not just for the Ministry of General Affairs, which you work under, but to facilitate projects throughout the various ministries. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the different funding agencies that you work with and how we're able to secure those funds.
So at BUC, we do a lot of donor coordination, donor projects, which actually means that we secure funding from funding agencies and funding countries such as the Netherlands or the EU, and we secure those funds for development projects here on St. Martin. You can think on the NDV, for instance. That is one of our projects that we recently launched last year. We also do donor funding for local projects. We are recently launching the Plastic-Free St. Martin project, and that's one of the projects we'll be discussing today. That project is also funded by the EU and implemented by Expertise France.
Right, so for us it's important. So getting funds means it's a grant. It's not a loan.
Correct.
And for St. Martin as a small island developing state, it's important for us to have these types of projects. And we also coordinate projects in the region as me being contracting authority in this regard as well. So not only do I have to sign off for projects for St. Martin, but for Anguilla and other islands within our territory. So we play a very coordinating role with some of these EU
Correct.
funds and Expertise France and Resembid, and so we're truly grateful for that. So Nikima already mentioned Plastic Free. It's one of, let's call it my babies, our baby, because she's been the project manager hard at work on this. We just launched Plastic Free SXM. This was something that started since way back,
Yes.
but was put off because of the pandemic. Can you explain what is the Plastic Free project?
Okay, so first off, for some of the viewers who are not familiar with the term, single-use plastic is the term used for plastic that is intended to be used once or for a relatively short period of time and then thrown away. So you can think on plastic straws or plastic bags, plastic plates or utensils. Now the issue with single-use plastic, and particularly for St. Martin as a small island, is that we are currently not able to break down or dispose of those toxic materials in a safe manner. So having a project such as this, it ensures that we protect and preserve our environment and our ecosystems and, of course, the marine biodiversity.
Right, and that's exactly why we were able to tap in to to the Resembid funds for this, because that's one of the main things that Resembid is doing. And so it requires also from BUC a bit of creativity to see which funds we can tap into for which projects. I've seen recently that there is a lot of, let's say, attention for the environment. Within St. Martin, I'm seeing the science fairs, the Nature Foundation, and others also gearing towards that. Do we do anything with the Nature Foundation and other schools, etc., regarding projects in general?
Yes, of course. The Nature Foundation is a local foundation that is mandated by government to preserve and protect our environment. So, of course, we do a lot of projects with them. The previous project that we had, St. Martin Plastic Free by 2023, was also in partnership with them. And I know that they too go out to the schools and they do presentations, and they give a lot of information and also do competitions amongst the schools, just raising awareness and making sure that the students are also aware of the dangers of these products. And of course, hopefully they will be able to encourage their parents to also lessen the use of single-use plastic and styrofoam items on the island.
So you're hearing it basically from the horse's mouth. Nikima has been busy with this project for the last several years. We're super happy that we're able to secure the funding for it. And when we come back after this short break, you'll hear more about the project, the funding, and how it will be executed. But I want to encourage you people of St. Martin that each of us have a role to play. And if you just go back to some of the broadcasts we've had and some of the info that's been shared from some of these science fairs, you'll already see how far our children are. So time to get on board, join Plastic Free SXM, and come back. We'll be right back with Prime Minister Talks.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
Hey!
Hey, what's up?
Girl, I heard you moved.
Yeah, I have, but I haven't reached the Civil Registry to change my address yet.
Did you know according to the law, you have 5 working days to change your address after moving?
The changing of address can be done in 2 ways. 1, making an appointment where you appear in person at the Civil Registry. 2, sending an email to burkazakensxm@stmartingov.org. What is required to change your address? A valid identification such as a passport, ID card, or driver's license. The deed of property if you're the owner, a lease agreement if you're renting, a GB utility bill, or the permission form from the landlord or property owner, including their identification. Who can change an address? A person who is 18 years or older. For minors, both parents have to give consent. Failure to register your change of address can result in a fine. For more information, please contact the Civil Registry Department at 721-542-0652 or email us at burkazakensxm@stmartingov.org. We are located at the Government Administration Building, Swaliga Road, number 1, Phillipsburg, St. Martin.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. I am your Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs. We're having a very interesting conversation with Ms. Nikima Hickinson, our Senior Policy Advisor at the Department of Interior and Kingdom Relations, also known as BUC, the one that has spearheaded and secured funding for our plastic-free project, which was finally launched earlier, like last month in February, and will be soon executed. So Nikima said something that I think we need to clarify, that we were busy with the Plastic Free by 2023 project, and now we're doing the Plastic Free SXM project. Please explain what happened that we now have a new project.
Okay, so with the Plastic Free by 2023 project, it was started as a pilot project from the Department of BUC in 2019. The project intended at that time to raise awareness for the 2020 Carnival period. Unfortunately, that Carnival period did not continue because of COVID, And after the COVID and after reformulating the project, we thought that it would be better to come up with a new name, particularly because 2023 is here, it's upon us. So we wanted to not only stray away from actually naming a date, but we wanted to focus more on single-use plastic, raising awareness, the new objectives of this project, because as I said, we reformulated the aim, and we just wanted to kind of put a different face to this project. So that's why the name of the project changed. It's now Plastic Free St. Martin. And it also has 3 different objectives that we will go into shortly.
Yes, so for me, it's very important that the public understands that we had let's say a 2-year hiatus because of the pandemic after that. And so also ensuring that we could find funding. So not just have a pilot now, but to have a full-fledged project. So we did engage with youth at that time. We created ads. You will still hear them on our Department of Communications and government pages until we come up with the new stuff, so that the awareness will continue to be raised, because awareness will continue to be part of this project as well. So thank you for clarifying that, Nikima, and I think that segues perfectly into giving the specific objectives of the plastic-free SXM.
Yes. So this project has 3 specific objectives. The first objective is to ensure that we take a close look at our local situation and identify a situational analysis, just basically understanding how dire the situation is as it pertains to single-use plastic and styrofoam usage on the island, and just providing recommendations on how we can better address the situation. The second objective would be for us to take a closer look at the legislative framework and get a holistic view of all the different legislations that address the issue, or at least touch on the issue, and see how we can fill the gaps within the legislation, as well as maybe even touch on the import of single-use plastic and styrofoam items. And then the third, but surely not the least, objective is to raise awareness. So we will be sharing information on the dangers of single-use plastic and styrofoam items on the island, particularly having learned from the first objective what our situation is and how we can better address.
Okay, with that 3-pronged approach, especially I think legislatively, some may know that we do have legislation that have passed and is actually waiting on government to be enacted. And so the project will actually facilitate that.
Correct.
Because one of the things holding us back is that the Inspectorate of TEAT, as well as the Justice Ministry, have a role to play in the enforcement. And we also, we were looking with the carnival situation to kind of put some extra requirements in the permits for events with this year already, so that people can start to get accustomed to minimizing the use of plastic. So how are we collaborating currently with TEAT to see how we can already start to minimize plastic usage?
So from the onset of the pilot project, TEAT was also a part of the work group that was put in place for this project. So they are very much aware of the objectives of this project. They are also involved in all the discussions that we are having pertaining to the activities that we will be executing within short. And of course, TEAT is usually the ones who grant subsidies and permits, particularly for the carnival season, and also for larger events like the regatta and other cultural events on the island. So we're definitely partnering with them, as well as with VRAMI. Of course, you know, VRAMI has the Department of Environment under their portfolio. So I think it's definitely an interministerial effort where this project is concerned.
Okay, great. And I would like to just encourage people that your actions, and there are several haulers who already have contracts with government that have recycle bins all over the island, as well as some businesses.
Yeah.
I see CC1 has put out some as well by different areas where you can recycle your plastic and your bottles. And so I think that's a great initiative coming from the ground up, even before any type of legislation is being enforced.
There are a lot of businesses and companies that have already started with their own initiatives, and I think that's really great, and it shows that it's something that is welcome by the population, and it's something that is definitely needed. I think the legislation, once that is enacted, that would go a long way as it pertains to the compliance of others who are a little bit
reluctant.
Yes. Yes.
That I think is very, very important. I even, in visiting with Heineken Regatta, you know, I always walk with my own bottles and stuff like that, and I had my own cup. But I saw gladly they were using cardboard type cups. They didn't have any straws. I was very, very much buoyed by that. So that was a large entertainment that would have created a lot of plastic and waste. So I'm very, very happy with that. Who will be executing this project? Will it be done by government?
It will be done jointly by government, and we are also partnering with SNDM, the St. Martin Development Fund. They're a young, dynamic organization who has gladly partnered with us with this project, and they will be doing the execution of the project, and we, of course, will be doing the managing and the coordination, as well as the reporting and budgeting of the project.
And when are we expecting that to start? Has the funding already been made available? How is it going?
Yes, the first tranche has already been made available. So activities will start within soon. We would like to, of course, tell the public to keep a listening eye and ear out for the activities of the project, because we will be launching soon.
Great. I'm looking forward to that with bated breath, because I think each action that we do as individuals on St. Martin will be impactful. And I'm running out of time for this segment, so I'll come back with some more questions for you, some more information to share with the general public on why plastic-free St. Martin is for me, it's for you, it's for the preservation of our beautiful country. Come back for more information.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvaria Jacobs.
St. Martin, listen up. The Civil Registry Department has taken 7 services online. That's right, you can now request a family tree, local address change, migration deregistration, a registration form, request for existing certificates, transfer your driver's license, and a driver's license declaration, all online. Go to services.stmartingov.org/civil registry and easily complete a request form for the service that you need. You can also pay for the services online using a major credit card or debit card and receive certain final products digitally as well. No traffic jams, no waiting in lines. And if you're on island or off, you now have full digital access to 7 civil registry services at services.stmartingov.org/civil registry. That's services.stmartingov.org/civil registry. For more information, call 542-0652. Now go online and request your service form today. The Civil Registry Department brings you a message on requesting a family tree.
A family tree shows the link in the relationship between people in several generations of a family. This can be requested at the Civil Registry Department and can be used at the notary for court proceedings. To request a family tree, you must submit the following to the Civil Registry Department: valid identification, a letter with a short description stating the purpose of your visit, relationship to the family, personal data on the person whom the tree is being requested, personal data of family members, mention up to which generation you are requesting the family tree, telephone number, home or mobile, email address, preferred communication channel, authorization letter if necessary with copy of identification of authorized person. Persons whose information were not updated or were not registered in the basic administration will not be included in the family tree. Payment of 80 guilders must be made to process your request. Depending on the length of research, an additional 80 guilders will be charged. Please contact the Civil Registry Department for more information at Swaliga Road number 1, Phillipsburg, St. Martin, or call us at 1-721-542-0652 or email us at burkersakensxm@stmartingov.org. You can also visit our website at www.stmartingov.org, Civil Registry, Back Office Services.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Civil Registry Department.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
We're back with Nikima Hickinson here on Prime Minister Talks. We're talking about plastic-free SXM, plastic-free St. Martin, the renovated project, full-fledged, funded via the EU. Can you be more specific as to how this funding was organized, and then how much is the fund worth? How much are we going to be investing in turning St. Martin plastic-free?
So the European Union made funding available for all OCTs, particularly for the RESEMBID project. The RESEMBID stands for Resilience, Sustainable Energy and Marine Biodiversity. So any OCT that was interested in submitting projects under those teams would have been able to apply for funding. So BOC took the initiative to apply for funding under the RESEMBID project. We luckily was approved for this project. I think it's a project that was well welcomed by RESEMBID because they enjoy projects for marine biodiversity. So it was recently approved, funding was received. I believe the amount for this project is roughly 358,000 euros. And that will be well spent on the activities that we have planned to raise awareness and to involve the population on reducing the use of their single-use plastic and styrofoam items.
Right. So I think it's very important that people understand that these are funds that are being generated into the community. They will be spent on whether it's consultants, activities, and the St. Martin Development Fund under the leadership of Makisha Brooks and her team will be executing it.
Yes.
We will be monitoring it from the government perspective, etc. And of course, a lot of the publication will be done via our platforms, via the Department of Communication. So this will be a truly collaborative effort. And I really would like you to look out, listen, because we will be asking you to do some stuff. So who are the targets? Who are we targeting? Who do we want to change behavior here?
Yes. So the entire population would be targeted with the awareness campaign. However, we do have specific activities such as school presentations where we will be going out to the schools and giving the information to school students. So of course, during that activity, the school students are the ones that will be targeted. We also have town hall meetings where the communities, the separate communities will be targeted individually so that we can reach out to persons in the population. And of course, we do have a lot of vulnerable groups in our population, some of which are not able to speak or understand English. So a lot of the information that we will be sharing would also be in various other languages so that they too can understand and reduce their use of single-use plastics.
Great, great. And do we foresee any challenges from the onset that we're already planning for?
Yes, I think with all projects, there are challenges. Specifically with this project, the project is heavily dependent on behavioral changes. So the population is definitely a very big target group. The project success is dependent on their acceptance, of course, to reduce their use. So that's one of the challenges that we see. However, I do think that with the implementation of the legislation banning single-use plastic, that would play an important role in compliance.
Good. What about businesses? Are we targeting them in any way? Seeing that we just mentioned Heineken Regatta, we were targeting Carnival back in 2020.
Yes.
Are we doing that this year as well? I understood that the St. Martin Festival is also promoting no plastic and doing it really in a sustainable manner. So at least the big festivals are seeing the importance.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Tiet is already putting that out in there, like we suggested, in their permitting process. So I encourage anyone who's preparing for events to look for the alternatives. Are we going to also be sharing with the population what alternatives they can use?
Yes, that's
and
all of,
purchasing any maybe for the schools or other vulnerable groups to at least practice using them.
yeah, that's part of the awareness campaign. So we would be giving information about the alternative products, particularly the ones that are already available on the island. So that is part of the campaign, and businesses, of course, will be targeted as well. Because they play a vital role. They are particularly the ones that import single-use plastic and make it available to consumers, so they will also be a part of the target group of this project.
So I'm very happy to see that businesses are already doing their part. Several of the larger businesses, the bigger festivals. Is Carnival going to be on board this year? Do you know? Have we already made contact?
We have made contact, initial contact. We will continue to contact them as well as the Carnival booth holders. So definitely they will be a part of this project for this year.
Good. So that's great. And now it's up to us, the people of St. Martin. So tell us a little bit what we can do to ensure that we reduce our usage and refuse to use plastic.
I think the most important thing that we can do, first and foremost, is to be informed. I think we should look at what we can do to stop using plastic, what alternatives they are, and also read up on the dangers of single-use plastic. Try and see how we too can change the habits that we have, the things that we purchase, and how we can purchase more safer, healthier products for ourselves and for our families.
Well, I must say I've started several years ago, and it's amazing to me once you start to do that, how much less garbage you have. So whilst in a daily basis you could have filled your garbage bin, now my bin is only a third full. And also if you start to take out the food stuff from there and put it in a compost, you're putting less in the landfill.
Indeed.
But definitely refusing to take plastic bags, walking with your own sustainable bags, reusable bags helps. And your own cups, walking with your own cups, walking with your own straws. Those are little things that you can do. And if you just think about it, it is our health, it is our wellness that we'll be preserving. So you don't have to wait until someone will be fined. You do your part, and of course, keep St. Martin clean. Any last words?
My last words would be look out for the plastic-free project. It will be starting soon. We are welcoming the entire community. We look forward to see you by each and every activity. And of course, remember to reduce your use of single-use plastic and styrofoam items.
Thank you so much, Nikima. It's always a pleasure to have conversation with you. And to you, St. Martin, it is our goal to be plastic-free. Let us all do our part. This has been Prime Minister Talks.